Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why and how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for lending me those wonderful, wonderful golden ears of yours. Today, I want to talk about empathy. Ooh, I'm going to go a little deeper than most people go on empathy. And this podcast was inspired after I read Andy Paul's book, Sell Without Selling Out. He talked about two types of empathy, and man, I said to myself, no, there's more than two. There's a third one. And again, in today's market, what people want is you to empathize with them. And if you've seen my presentations, you've heard my podcast, I always define empathy as puking with your clients, really feeling the pain. But let's go ahead and define the three types of empathy, and I'm going to go ahead and put them in ladder form. In other words, from what I call least impactful to most impactful type or mode of empathy. Level number one, cognitive empathy. Now, cognitive empathy is, I understand what you're going through, Mr. Customer. That's logical. In other words, it's very rational. Somebody explains something to you, you go, I get that. I understand that. That is cognitive empathy. Not as powerful, but at least it lets the customer know you understand. From a rational standpoint, from a logical standpoint, you get it. I understand, right? Then let's move up the ladder of empathy. We move now to compassionate empathy. Ooh, now we're getting a little deeper. Not only do I rationally understand the person or the client, I now understand how they feel. Ooh, I understand how you feel, Mr. Customer. I understand how you feel. In other words, it's a very emotional response. It's an emotional type of empathy where I understand how you feel. The person describes something to you. It's like, you ever have a friend describe like an incident? Like, I don't know, they got into an accident, they tripped, they fell, whatever, something, and you go, ooh, I feel that. I can feel, I understand how you feel. If they're angry, I understand how you feel. So compassionate empathy is a little, next level in the empathy scale. Now, the third one. So the first one is cognitive. I get it. Rationally, I get it. Compassionate. Emotionally, I get it. I understand. I feel you, man. I feel your pain. But the last one, I'm going to call it, I just came up with this, by the way. I'm going to call it convulsive empathy. Yeah, I made that up. Convulsive empathy. It goes along with puking. Convulsive empathy is when you tie in the experience, like you've been there. Like, you ever talk to people, and again, you can tell somebody, you know what? I understand what you're trying to tell me. And then somebody else says, they explain it, you go, I feel what you're telling me, man. I can feel your pain. But then convulsive is like, not only can I feel your pain, I've lived it. I've gone through what you're going through. I know what you're feeling right now. I know the pain deep down inside, in that gut of yours. I understand what you're going through. This is why I think salespeople who have great experience, a broad range of experiences, can really talk to different types of customers and different types of influencers, because their experience over the years gives them that canvas of pain, that convulsive pain. So when the customer says something, goes, not only do I understand you rationally, not only do I feel your pain, let me share with you how it happened to me and what I went through, so we are one-on-one and we understand each other. And the closer you can get to what I'll just call it convulsive empathy. If you can move from cognitive through compassion and get to convulsive empathy, man, that's when you really connect with somebody. Now, having said that, some of you might be thinking, well, Victor, what if I'm just starting out? I don't have that experience. Well, then you may be able to go to the second stage, which is compassionate empathy, and that's okay. But over time, you'll be able to develop more, through experience, that convulsive empathy when you're talking to your clients. So as you're talking to your clients, remember, we definitely want to move away from cognitive empathy, which is, I get it rationally. That doesn't help you. Move over to compassionate empathy. I think you can win deals in that range. But I'm telling you right now, if you can feel their pain, you can convulse with them. you're going to connect. You're going to build that rapport. You're going to build that connection. The person says, I get you because you get me. And by the way, another way to really accelerate your path to being convulsive, if I can put it that way, is to really talk to people around you, your colleagues, people who have experienced different types of sales situations. Let them tell you their stories. So even though you didn't live the experience, you can live vicariously through somebody else's experience. This is important. If you talk to colleagues, right, people in your business, your boss, again, colleagues, your peers, and then they tell you story about, and then these are the type of stories that you can relate to your customers when you're talking to them. I mean, that's getting close to getting convulsive with them. So again, there is a way of accelerating your convulsiveness by simply getting stories from people around you. And that is it for the Sales Influence Podcast. Let me know what you think. Did I convulse? Did you understand it? Did you get it? Let me know what you think. Love to hear your feedback. Again, YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, wherever you find me. Love to hear your feedback. And also, when you get a chance, we've added some new courses to the Sales Velocity Academy. So go to salesvelocityacademy.com. Check out the courses if you want to learn how to sell more, faster. And on that note, this is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selenate hard when you know how, and you can convulse with your clients. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.